I'm curious how it's going to look.
All right, it's starting up right now.
Yeah, the thumbnail was not. Yeah, the photo itself. It's. Wish they didn't have those words on there.
Yeah, I edited it. Come on, where is it? Pop up on the... I don't see it on the channel. That's weird. Oh, there it goes. I see now. All right. Okay, so we are live. Just put some music on. Oh my goodness. That was excruciating. I have a modicum of understanding of what it's like to be Charlotte from last week.
Or Portland.
Portland.
Rather,
sorry, Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah. Portland from last week. That's right. Oh my goodness. Pretty sad. Yeah.
Yep, it's a bad night for Atlanta United. Definitely, going out to Columbus on a road trip. It's gonna be a grim ride back, that's for sure, for the players and anybody that went out as an away day. Man, that does not bode well, for your trip. I'm sure that's not the highlight. Hopefully you can find some other things that are more interesting than what happened tonight. But
yeah,
that's also, I mean, kind of completely negates our goal difference from our last match as well, and then some. So yeah, we have some work to do. We'll get the obvious out of the way in that we had 7 first-team players that were missing, and you can maybe even count it as 8 because Andrew Gutman went down in the first half. So, we look as disjointed as possible, and a team that looks just without our spine essentially. Raguzan is back there, but you don't have Miles Robinson. You don't have let's pause there. Miles Robinson, who didn't even make the squad for the U.S. men's national team. So, glad that happened.
Yeah.
And then Thiago Almada, of course, and Yorgos Yakimakis also missing. I mean, that's pretty much straight up through the middle. It explains a good bit, but it does not also explain some of the really shoddy defending from the players that are still, kind of the starters from last match. Because largely still, there were only 3 different starters, but the difference makers off the bench as well, with Derek Etienne, et cetera, it's just not there. So it's an ugly one. But what are your thoughts, Michael?
So I think just Miles Robinson, I think, is being saved for the next more difficult game for the United States. I think that's why they didn't play him. So it's not like a total, they just took him away from us for no reason. My just initial thoughts from this game, and I want to kind of get them out before, because we said last week I would be eating an incredibly hot, spicy chip for this episode, so I want to get my thoughts out before I do that, because I might not be able to talk after that.
We'll do that at the end of the episode, so that just in case there are any reactions from you, anyway.
Okay.
And also reactions from our audience that, for you anyway, hopefully it does not cause any sort of adverse things.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So my thoughts are that, it's, kind of like the title of the stream, no Almada, no party. I was asking myself, there's 2 things.
Michael, I can't hear you, by the way.
Oh, can everyone hear me?
I don't know if the stream is still happening, but
can everyone hear me in the
chat? I'll continue to talk. Michael will eat that chip, but yes.
Hello.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Hopefully everyone in the chat can still hear me.
Okay, good.
So anyway, what I was saying is that there was two things I was running through my head. Is this okay? You can hear both of us. Good. Is this a breakdown in tactics, or are we that bad without those three players that we're missing? And I think it's a little bit of both. I think we got out-coached pretty handedly. I think we came into this trying to play like we would normally if we had those three players, and clearly we don't have the personnel to execute that type of tactic, and we got just ripped to pieces by very inexperienced and not that great players too. Like, these aren't like world beaters on their team. Like, this scoreline doesn't flatter them, but this is not something they take into the next game against a good team and go, yeah, well, we're great now. I don't think so.
Mike, your audio went out for me.
Okay. I think it's just going out for you, which is odd.
By the way, I also can't hear you.
Yeah. I think AJ is just having trouble hearing me for whatever reason.
Hello.
Can you hear me now? No? Well,
Mike, I can't hear you.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to help you. I don't know. Help me help you. So yeah, that's my... Yeah, that's right, Mojo. I think that's the case.
Michael. Mike.
1 sec, guys.
All right. Thanks for the patience, everybody. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. They can hear you. Okay, so it's me.
Yeah, it's you for whatever reason.
Okay.
So yeah. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, everyone. Anyway, yeah. So those are my initial thoughts. It seems to be that we really, really need those three players. At minimum, Thiago Almada, to make anything work anywhere on the pitch. Our defense was disjointed. Our midfield was non-existent. Our offense was completely disjointed as well. We had nothing going for ourselves. I couldn't tell you how many turnovers. I need to look and see how many turnovers we had that game. It was like every pass was underhit, overhit, miscue, misdirection, not on the same page. Columbus just was right there to gobble it up at every turn. I mean, it's like, they were doing what we did to the other teams when we had those three players. They were running to the ball, getting to it before us every time, to the second ball every time, to winning one-on-ones and duels every time. They were feisty. They really had it out for us. And it seemed like we didn't answer with any kind of energy. We came out there lethargic. We came out there slow. It was like a herd of turtles stampeding through molasses. They're so darn slow. I just remember seeing Tyler Wolf at one point trying to break into a sprint, and like 3 players closed him down because they effortlessly caught him. It was ridiculous.
It was second to every ball. The effort definitely was not requisite, and definitely in terms of the technical ability. Just it wasn't there on the pitch, and you could see it where there just wasn't any sort of chemistry or connectivity between any of the lines. Because debut for Noah Cobb, but he's a teenager, and then you have essentially as well up top Miguel Berry, who I'm not really sure he is looking like significant minutes are in his future, really. he's definitely it's as backup as it is probably with him. And a midfield of Sadic, Sosa, and Ibarra. What kind of creativity are we trying to get from that? So, it's basically at that point, park the bus. That's exactly what you're saying, Mike, is the tactics that we came in tow here, there was no way that we were going to play the same attacking type of football that was so successful at home. I mean, we needed to have sat back a little bit, unfortunately. The press looked lethargic. I mean, just so many aspects of this went begging. And, of course, again, yes, the, Columbus Crew were shorthanded as well. But, yeah, we made their kind of, mediocre players look like some, players that could, like make moves in MLS. But that's the thing, yeah. It's like some of these guys hadn't scored ever before. Some of these guys that scored also, it was like their second goal ever in their career. Like, it's just, it was some training ground, like, stuff for Columbus that, I mean, it made us look very, very, very poor. And it begs the question, it really begs the question, if Atlanta United, when we inevitably are going to lose Thiago Almada, what do we do? Because it obviously, the technical ability that he has to be able to run the game for us. We saw that last match, and we saw what was missing in this match.
All right, so we have someone joining the chat. We got Patrick in here. Everyone say hi to Patrick.
How's it going?
What's up, y'all? This was hard to watch. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you. Let it roll. Fire.
We are good.
Oh, geez. So I got to be honest, y'all. I've been watching this team. I really like them, but it seems like we have no engine without Almada. It was just a joke. That seeing some of the runs that Columbus made, there was one that I'm over at a pal's house. We were watching the game, and it was late in, I think it was like the 63rd minute, and Columbus had a beautiful run that started at like their 22 in the defending zone, like one touch passes all the way through. And I said, I swear to God, if Columbus doesn't score on this, they should just quit. And they didn't. It was the one where there was a beautiful cross right to the 18, and the guy just launched it into the rafters, and I just laughed out loud. And 2 minutes later, Columbus scored. It's just this. It was so frustrating to watch, especially after the performance of last week. And I don't want to pontificate, but my God, this was ugly football. Like, we didn't have any presence on the pitch from the defending zone through the midfield, through the attacking zone. I mean, we got a gift of a goal at the very end, but hard to watch, y'all. I'm devastated, but I know it's one game, but it really does feel like the Almada show for sure.
Right. When there's no Almada, there's no party, and I mean, it's pretty apparent that we need some sort of creative attacking force when he's not in there. Or it's like even he will need a break. He will need some time off of the pitch at times. Like, where will we be able to find goals? And
sorry,
it's apparent.
This is the angle. I don't mean to interrupt you, AJ.
It's good.
This is
it's
very
good.
new.
No, you're good.
You're fine. I'm trying to do this as well, walking the streets of Atlanta. So, we're right here with you. But in terms of I guess hope for other matches without Almada, who's somebody that can be an understudy for you on this roster?
I mean, it's hard. Mike, go ahead and take this one, because I've got a short memory. It's hard for me to find a bright spot after this game.
A bright spot. I mean, Ledin scored, so that's fun. I didn't really see any good performances. Everyone who typically does okay did atrociously bad. Everyone who did good only did okay / even some of them did bad, which was, and I mean, just losing Gutman too is like, holy crap. Like that, hopefully that's not a long-term thing, because if that's long-term, he's a huge part of our press. His engine allows us to press the way that we do on the one side of the field. So without him, we're going to be looking a little less dangerous on one side. The other team can kind of focus on the other and then kind of double that. So, I mean, it's kind of like a perfect storm of bad. Like we washed our goal differential out from last week, which was just really unfortunate. And we lost a key player, not like a DP, but honestly, at this point, I almost feel like I would be all right with losing Arujo to an injury over Gutman.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Gutman was probably one of our best players last season, if not our player of the season last season. I mean, he carried us at times when we were woefully playing whatever ball we were playing last season. That this is we didn't play this bad last season at all. Actually, I mean, no scoreline that looked like this. So
we didn't get blown out by a B team, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the first half was ridiculous. I saw watching it, I think I jumped in like 4 minutes in or something. And the first goal by Columbus in like the 14th minute, I was like, all right, that was a crap goal to give up. But, maybe they're just getting their legs under them. No. It was just like, it looked like a completely different team. I mean, I don't know what that locker room looks like, but if this is what Almada is bringing to the team, I'm fearful for what happens in 3-4 seasons when we lose him. But I know that's doom and gloom and long way off. There's a whole season to be played, but man, just
Bill, you can get in here in a second and fight me on that point. You just wait your turn, okay?
Look, hey, I have to jump off, but I'll jump on next time. I got to get back. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for letting me jump in.
Yeah,
I will
no
be
problem.
back next
Absolutely,
time
man.
for my unqualified opinion.
Well, this is what the fan cams are
No,
for.
you're
We're
happy,
all
man.
unqualified.
Yeah, baby. Hey, thanks for having me on, y'all.
Yep. All right. Take care,
Have a
man.
great night, man.
Be in chat.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it is also the first half. We didn't even register a shot. We had one shot on goal the entire night, and our XG was like 0.09. So it's as dire of a night as it comes. We get the consolation goal from Brooks Limit. It's well taken. It's some decent build-up play that ends up in a deflection on a loose ball that Lennon takes really well. I mean, low-driven ball. Keeper really had no choice and no chance to save that. And I mean, it is it is not enough though to put this sour night to bed. It is pretty bad of a time tonight. But
Yeah.
we're here to lament with you guys.
Yes, and speaking of that, we have our next guest, Bill Gluckman, is here to give us his reason why he doesn't want to see Arujo go down instead of Gutman.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it's not that Arujo is offering much. It's that we have 2 competent left back options. We have 0 competent backup right wing.
That's true. That's true.
We're just out of depth when it comes to attacking players.
Oh yeah. It was pretty dire tonight in terms of the number of choices to come off the bench. I mean, Eric Lopez came on for his first appearance in ever, and it's well, I don't know what he really did.
Game.
Yeah, I'm pretty much joking a little bit, but it's that. I mean, he has not played in a year because he was on loan, obviously, and he's playing kind of the second striker position, and then the striker. What did you think in terms of what attacking options we have when Almada is away or on the bench or God forbid, injury?
Yeah, I mean we just gotta sit and counter. There's nothing else you can do there. You just sit and counter and hope the combination of Arujo, GG, and then either Etienne or Wiley does something, because that's it you got.
Because I mean, on the counter, we look dangerous when we have Almada to pull the strings and find those through balls or those delicately weighted passes. But we didn't have that tonight. And do you think that Gonzalo Pineda had it tactically right?
No, I would have started with 3 center backs. I would have brought Gutman back, in the left side, Cobb on the right, and I'd have Barada in the middle and just defend.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, the other thing that gets ignored about kind of the formation and the setup is just what Miles brings to the table. And what Miles does is he stops counters and just erases everything. And without that, you just don't have the ability to throw numbers forward. So if you throw Miles back in that roster tonight, you can get away with a lot more than you can get away with this group, because then all of a sudden 2 of the 3 defensive midfielders we start in the middle can go forward. All of a sudden you can be a little bit smarter, a little bit kind of more aggressive, but kind of just a disaster all around without your 3 spine players.
Exactly. That's what I called it. It's the spine. Like right down the middle, GG, our Cam, Almada, and then Miles. You rip that out, it just like collapsed. There's like a gaping void there. The other team ran right through it.
Yeah. We're just a heap of of organs and skin without our spine. So it's
I think if you add Abram, it even goes better. I think you need someone
100%.
who's not the goalie to organize.
100%.
Right.
There's no one there. Maybe Ozzy comes back at some point. We have no backup 10. We have only left side backup wingers. I mean, Wolf's not the answer. Maybe Brennan will mature a lot in the next 6 months, but he needs minutes with the 2s. I mean, it's pretty dire after the first 4 attacking players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's MLS depth for you, for sure. And we don't need to go too hard in why we're even playing tonight in the international break. But, obviously you have the choice of either condensing your schedule or playing during the international break. And for the first time, really, we play in the international break. But would you, in the future, play during the international break, Bill?
Yes. I'd rather lose the points,
So would.
especially if you can be away. Away games are a crapshoot. You lose a lot of them. Lose it, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, this one hurts a little bit more because it could have playoff implications because of the goal differential. But yeah, for the most part, I completely agree.
3 points is a lot more important than goal differential in the end.
It could come down to it, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if it keeps you healthy in the end, I'd rather not condense the schedule because the schedule is already a beast. So play through it. The thing is, in the MLS, usually you can have one additional attacking option. I mean, even in some of our dire seasons, we had 1. I don't know if Rosie brings enough to attack in the middle, but you just have
I would
to
say
have
no.
someone. I mean, he's better than what we put out there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate he couldn't get more time.
Yeah, I mean, fitness, and I'd rather be cautious early in the season with his injury, whatever he had to force him out for a couple of games. But yeah, you have to have someone off the bench, someone with some maturity. Like, you can spend money on additional players. We should have an additional TAM player available. Like, we should be spending money this summer. And if you sell Almada, you should be bringing in 2 players because you'll get $1 million in GAM plus the truckload of money and the roster spot. So you should be able to afford an attacking 10 who's close to a max TAM player and a young DP.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect that to happen. I expect us to get to the windfall of really good players in the summertime. I got to ask you, though, is this a one-off? Is this a fluke? Are we back next week, Bill? Or is this kind of hinting at more structural issues that may rear their ugly head throughout the season?
So, I mean, we're not a top 3 first 11 to start with. We've played some poor teams. That's certainly beneficial. I mean, Toronto's bad, and we drew them without Insigne. So, I mean, not great. We're somewhere between 4 and 6, I think, if we're healthy. So I think this is kind of a one-off. But we're thin. We're thin in a lot of positions, and if we lose anyone, Gutman's, I assume that groin's going to be 4 to 6 weeks at minimum. That was one of the positions we could afford to lose someone, and it wasn't the end of the world. Probably Brooks is the other one that we have some depth, but yeah, if we get injuries, we will be like this. If we get everyone back and reasonably healthy, we're a bottom of the playoff team, or bottom of whatever the playoff used to be. I don't know how many teams.
Do you think Almada is?
No, it's 9. Yeah.
Do you think Almada is covering up a lot of issues with this team because of how good he is?
I mean, I think it helps to have maybe the most talented player to step foot in the MLS, and easily the most talented to step foot in close to his prime, right? So we can throw out Beckham and Ibra and stuff. That helps. I mean, having someone who can play more of an 8 and a 10 covers a lot of weaknesses because you can throw 2 6s out there. But, I mean, there's talent here. Arujo with help is still fine. Gigi's going to score goals. Etienne's got pace. He's coming off a career year, but maybe he regresses a little bit, but he already has 2 assists. So there's talent here. There's just fight, claw, barely make top 7 talent with Almada all of a sudden. Hey, is this a home playoff team? Once again, don't know what they did to this year's playoffs, but top 4 team. That's where kind of the ceiling is with Almada. He's just that good, and he's finding it and figuring it out. But this is an okay team. Alonso comes back, you get a little bit more depth if he ever comes back. But if you get 15 minutes a game out of him, that's suddenly a big change. It allows you to close out games.
Yeah. So what's concerning to me, based on everything you were just saying, and I completely agree, that it seems like when we're looking at like Leagues Cup campaign, Open Cup campaign, if this is our depth that we are probably going to use in those types of scenarios, those types of tournaments, it's not looking good. I mean, it's like we're going to have to play our first team to win any of those games. I mean, we'll probably blow them out, but like the alternative is play a team that could maybe rival the twos. So I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, we'll probably default our way out of the Open. We won't show up with anyone worth a damn for the U.S. Open Cup, and if you lose early, you lose early.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or the year we won, we got a pretty favorable draw until the semis. So it's not like maybe this team can throw out and beat a bunch of USL teams or get lucky.
At this point, I don't know if they can beat a USL team with these players.
Yeah, I mean, you add in some extra pieces, maybe. You flame out.
You also have to have some continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that you're going to develop much continuity with these guys without,
Exactly.
The biggest problem with Almada from a team standpoint is because he does so much, the other players just rely on that. And that's fine. And that's great for some period of time. But eventually, if we want the other players to develop, having games where Almada misses or plays half the game is perfectly good. It's just other players are scary in their abilities right now, and not in a good way.
So, I mean, I think that begs the question. Like, should we focus on Supporter Shield, MLS Cup, Leagues Cup, US Open Cup? Which one should we focus on? Because obviously depth is an issue. Which one do you think? Which competition?
I wouldn't throw any first 11 players out in the US Open Cup. I would just punt that one. I'd probably play the first game of Leagues Cup with the full squad, and if anything happens, I'd punt that one too, and then focus on the 2 MLS competitions. I think a lot will determine on kind of the next 2 months of what Almada does, because if he continues to play like this, I mean, I think there's going to be a price and an amount of money dropped on him that will be not something we can refuse. And so then it's about figuring out how you incorporate whatever you're going to do next. So, I mean, I'm sure Garth is planning away what he's going to do with that money. But if someone comes up and says, here's $40 million, one, I don't know how you say no to that as a league or a team. And two,
yeah, you don't.
I don't know how you tell Almada, here's your dream team. Real Madrid came here and offered $40 million. I don't know if it's Real Madrid, but Real Madrid offered you $40 million. It's your dream. Got to play here for the rest of the season. Like, he's going to sit. Like, there's no reason for him not to sit at that point. Like, you want to talk about, college football players sitting meaningless bowl games? Well, this is a meaningless bowl game to him if he's got an offer from one of those type clubs. So
that's true. But the only thing you could possibly argue is that he starts here and he's a rock star versus going to there and riding the bench if that's what happens. You know, because Joseph said this is his Barcelona, because if he was on Barcelona, he would be probably not the first guy.
Yeah, Joseph can say that and not fight 35 people who are playing for a top 20 team for his spot in Argentina. So that's kind of the downside of that, right? If he wants to continue to be a player on the Argentinian national team, like, it's hard to do that in MLS, and it's hard to get the experience you need to continue to contribute in MLS. So, that's kind of the downside of it. Like, he may be a rock star here, he may love it, but like his entire future and career kind of depend on going at some point.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know. I just think he would. I mean, I don't know how he ignores the offers that are going to come in.
Yeah,
they're going to come in.
It was mostly tongue in cheek. Yeah, he's not going to ignore them. He's definitely going to be gone. So,
I think there's a good chance there is some deal as part of his contract that says, you got to let me go at some point. Like, it may not be a formal release clause, but some room, and when they were making this deal, they made some condition, because he's not coming to the MLS without some idea he can move. I mean, the bag we gave him is fine, but
interesting.
He's not going to want to sit.
Yeah, and I think it's also that it's like, as to your point, Bill, it's once he gets an offer, his head's going to get turned, and how is he going to focus on our team when maybe he's already bought by some Premier League team that's he's just waiting in the wings to go over there and be on their high wages, and his world completely changes, because it's that. I mean, like, he's making good money here, and you can make good money in MLS, but I mean, it's not Prem money, that's for sure, and it's life changing.
And his raise might not be even that big to go to the Premier League. Like, there's a good chance he doesn't get a ton more money. There's additional taxes in England. He get paid $2+ million here. I mean, he might make 2.8 there, 3 million. So it's not going to be this huge amount of money, but it's like, there's a good chance if he's here through the end of the year, eventually he loses his spot on the Argentinian national team. Like, I don't know that anyone on this call or whatever on this live stream would be shocked if Almada playing in MLS is not good for the Argentinian national team picture. So, he's going to go, and we're going to have to. I think we'll sign a CAM player, not a YDP at first, who is someone we buy down either with the money we get or in the future to play the 10. 26, 27. Look for someone with decent assist numbers in a large league, and then. We sign some flashy in the pants YDP in the off season. Like, that's how I would go about thinking about it, because then you can bring in one player, kind of evaluate the rest of the team without Almada, and decide where to go. Because you've kind of already committed to your buyout for next year. It's not going to be some secret who the buyout is in the off season. It's Eric Lopez. And if it's not Eric Lopez, something else crazy has happened, because nobody's paying for him. So, you've got to decide.
He's the only player.
Yeah, so, Bill, would you mind sticking around for a little bit? I'm going to take some questions from the chat and read some comments. Do you mind sticking around and helping us field some of them?
Yeah, sure.
All right, great. So, let me just look at some of Yeah, go ahead, AJ.
Yeah. And with that, it's, on Almada, I mean, losing his spot in the Argentina national team. I get your point, Bill. I think there is this, and, like, if he's going to continue to score for the Argentinian national team, I mean, I think it might be a little difficult to leave him out. But it's also this: it's as long as Messi is in the squad, Almada will be part of the squad, because it seems like, as according to reports, that Messi has a little bit of a likening to Almada, and I mean, obviously he's got really big competition for places in the Argentinian team. We're aware. We got Dybala, we got McAllister. Like, those two guys are very, very good and already playing in the highest, most competitive leagues. So, but I think at least for the next year, maybe two, if Messi is still playing for the national team, I think he's got a strong shot. But then after that, and I don't think any of us think that we're going to be keeping Almada for next year. So
yeah.
Maybe for the next end of the year, if some team doesn't come in, because there is that. Like Real Madrid don't have the money, Barcelona don't have the money, so La Liga probably not going to. Maybe in the French league, if PSG decided to change their way of bringing in players and get rid of all the just completely biggest names ever. Okay. But in the Prem, I mean, yeah, it's like I could see it maybe going to Brighton, maybe if they sell McAllister and then, they need, some spots for some creative attacking talent. I mean, most teams in the Prem, I think, could probably afford 40 mil. Like that's that's the craziness of the Premier League. So
and you'll have three.
Anyway, let's get to the question.
Can probably
and that too.
But Brighton selling Casado was the one I was thinking to fund it.
Yeah, Casado, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so Pretty Idiot says, "What game? There was no game today. We're all hallucinating."
And I wish.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I didn't see that tonight. Yeah.
Baraka says, "I don't even remember what happened after the second goal was conceded. I was just staring at the screen in utter disbelief. Weren't we all? Our team just forgot to function," says Eddie Ruiz. Yeah, I agree. Don't understand the logic of 17-year-old playing CB. I mean, the logic is we had really no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mojo Production says 2018 feels so far away, but the last 2 weeks it didn't. It fell right there.
Right.
Yeah. Connor Watson says, Eddie, we didn't have anyone else. Yep, that's right. I'm still iffy on if it was fully on the tactics as much or just half the team seemed to blank out, taking out two really essential players. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it really, like, in addition to the tactics seeming off, the obvious lack of talent was there. What also seemed like it stuck out was that we just seemed tired. We didn't have the energy. Like I was saying earlier, we weren't running to second balls. We weren't trying to get rebounds. We weren't trying to, pin guys down in the midfield. We didn't have that dog that we did the last couple games. We didn't, like, no one was like playing up and above their level like they were the last two games. Maybe like they were overperforming and were regressing to the mean a bit or whatever. But I mean, or maybe they're tired.
It's exactly that. It's energy is contagious. And playing at the Benz with all the fans, that whole 12th man thing, 13th man even, that whole idea, it really rings true. And it's also, not having Almada, Gigi, both of those guys, it's really smart pressing from them as well as, I mean, when you score a ridiculous golazo as a free kick, you're going to keep, urging on for more goals. You're going to be like, okay, well, I want to get one. But then it's also, Miles Robinson at the back. That safety valve, like we were pretty much alluding to. Like, It allows you to play higher up the pitch. It allows you to essentially get the team further away from your goal, which makes it harder for them to score. So, we were missing so many bits of that, it's an entire tactical change that is obvious we didn't maybe prepare for, or we looked bereft of any idea of how to play.
It'll be interesting to hear the press conference from Pineda. Bill, do you have any thoughts on that?
It looked like we had the exact same tactical game plan and setup as last week.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Like, we were like, oh yeah, no, we can take important pieces out and still it'll be fine, it won't matter, and let's not bother. There's two things that we should have an advantage over, because we have both our left side starting and both our right side starting, so we should be playing the ball wide at least.
Do you think Pineda expected this? Do you think he expected a drubbing tonight, or do you think this is oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming, the wheels have come off?
I think he thought this was going to be an even game. I think he thought the team he put out there would be fine. and Nagby and Morris were better than anyone we put out there.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a disaster. But I think he thought that starting 11 with that tactic was going to be fine. Arujo was going to play well. Barry was going to probably bag one. You know, on set pieces, we still have Lennon setting balls, so Parada's going to get on the end of it. You know, I think he probably thought this was the right strategy. You don't need to change. And in MLS 1, you either impose your will or you sit back. And if you don't have the roster or you don't have the talent or the energy, you sit back. You know, this was a game to sit back, and we didn't.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it might also be a thing about wanting to, you know, establish a system that you can plug and play players. Granted, we're not at the point where, you know, we go and plug and play and it results in anything good. That's fine. This is a learning experience for some of those younger players, some of those guys that we subbed in. You know, why change the system when it's working, when the starting 11 that we want on the field is doing well? I guess it's like, you know, why would you want to change that? So moving on, why didn't Rosetta start? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, and we'll answer that real quick.
Yeah.
Rosetta didn't start because he was injured and like at least questionable.
They were
past,
watching a
couple
hamstring
matches.
injury, I think, or something.
Exactly. And so, yeah, you don't start him after an injury. That's just going to exacerbate things, especially if, Goopman came off. What if we couldn't make another substitution, you know, in time, in that sense that Rosetta has to play the whole match? Like, that's going to kill his legs and negate the whole him sitting out the last two matches to nurse the injury.
Yeah.
But in terms of, just the tactics, I think, as well, I think we did see that we were pulled a little too wide. We didn't play compact enough, and that's why Jonathan Nagby just had a masterclass in midfield. He was able to play completely around us like no one was there. Like that, there wasn't even a midfield to play around. It was just basically he just glided near the goal where he could find the Columbus players unmarked, where they could. I don't know if you guys saw the goals that were scored by Columbus, but they were all in the box, and there were at least four of them inside the 6-yard box. So, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. Brad Guzan was losing his freaking mind.
Yeah.
By the way, if Darlington Abbing's on the U.S. men's national team at Qatar, do they win the whole thing? Do they beat the Netherlands at least?
No, because Greg's still coaching.
That's blasphemy. He's the best player in the world. I won't hear any such hereditary.
And Greg would play him at left wing or something.
I know, right? Yeah.
All right. So next question is: half the team looked like they showed up to play, the other half didn't. I mean, if you count, the entirety, everyone on the pitch as the team, then I would say Columbus showed up that half, and Atlanta did not. We can blah blah blah. Let's see what else is there.
Because usually our steady performers also looked pretty bad. I mean, Lennon could not get goal side on his man for the goal that the fifth goal.
He got toasted on the sixth one.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
I think it might have been the fifth one, but
he got embarrassed.
Yeah. Exactly. And then Parata, oh my God, I don't know where he was tonight. He was pretty much all over the shop, not in the right defending positions. And plus the bad giveaway that led to the goal, and then a terrible sliding tackle to try to make up for it when, it should have been, better marking. It's just, we just, in terms of the players that have decent games normally for us, exactly to your point, Michael. It's like, what was going on?
Underperformed, yep. Columbus was playing with a starting lineup that was apparently way different from their usual. Obviously because of international, break for some of their players like Lucas Zarayan and Eloy. Eloy Ruin didn't even have to stand on his head this game, which is usually my frustration. But hey, if this is, don't be fooled. Their team they put out there isn't world beaters. They're not amazing. They need their starters that they were lacking. They try and put this out against a decent MLS team, like Bill was saying, like one of the top 5 in the going to the playoffs. That this team's going to get trashed. So that just speaks to the lack of depth we really have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't
that's exactly
defense or offense. It was the first choice 2 center midfielders, and that's difference maker. But that's Christian Ramirez is their backup striker. Our backup striker looks like Bambi out there. It's not even a fair comparison.
And Miguel was decent for them too. It's like, oh my god.
He's been on a downward trend. We need to get him an easy tap in, try and figure something out. But yeah, he's not been great since that 8-goal year.
Mojo says, they're talking about some other thing. To me, it kind of felt like Sosa and Sajic were clashing in the midfield more than working together, says Pretty Idiot. I did feel like there was some disjointed confusion. There was some not being used to where other players were on the pitch this game, and that's to be expected. I mean, Sosa hasn't been in the starting lineup the entire season yet, which has been only like 5 games at this point, but still, he's had his issues. We had different players out there. We're going to have that. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, good, intelligent teams will try and make up for it or be able to play up and over that kind of hurdle. However, if you just, as we've seen, if you put any kind of tiny little 2-foot hurdle in front of this team, they'll trip and fall right on their face. It's got to be like a perfect, everything, all the stars are aligning, and then, we can just go ham on teams, which, I'm there for it. That's great. But like I said, you remove one little Jenga block and the whole thing seems to fall.
Yeah, it's the saying. It's feast or famine. And, hopefully we just have more days that we feast on teams. And, Thanksgiving every day, hopefully.
So here's an interesting one. Of the players in the field, not Brad, who is saying anything in the locker room at halftime?
On this starting 11?
This group, who is taking a leadership role?
Oh man, I'm unfortunately imagining a very meek and mild Miguel Barry attempting to speak up and just not convincing anyone.
Like Gutman went off the field, he's probably the vocal leader of that group, but after that,
I think
none of those people.
Seriously speaking, probably Lennon. Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah, exactly. Because, but I mean, at least in the photos that we've seen, we've never really seen him, give too much, I think, in leadership per se, but really talk about leadership, maybe that he feels like he's ready to, maybe if he is called upon to be a captain.
The guy's smart. But he knows ball, so.
He feels like a hustle leader, if you know what I mean.
Energy leader, yeah.
I'm going to work hard, and because I show people that I can run through a brick wall, not around a defender, but through a brick wall, I'm going to show them that I'm I'm the example. Whereas I think someone like Ozzy or Joseph, even during certain times, LGP, Parkhurst, Perenovich, those are guys who just sit everyone down and say, okay, you need to get your game back together. You need to wake up. Whereas I don't see Brooks getting in anyone's face at halftime and saying, we need to fix this.
I just see Arujo coming into the locker room and throwing his shin pads against the wall and getting into like a little hissy fit, but
Among the problems with Arujo, and there are many, and we could spend a long time talking about whether he fits or whether he's worth it.
Or whether I'd prefer him to go down over Gutman, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, but it's not that far off. It's not as far off as it should be, given that we have a competent backup. But he at least worked through the end of the game. I don't know if you saw their 6th goal, but he was trying to press after turning the ball over while everyone else stood still and watched them. So I do appreciate at least he seems like he's trying to put an effort. It just is.
I agree. He definitely has that. I mean, he's still one of those players who smells blood in the water. When he sees an opportunity, he turns it on. And, we can always rely on him to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he just can't dribble past anyone anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, give him open space. He's going to be able to get into the final third. It's the final third bit that, needs a ton of work still, obviously.
Another point is Pretty Idiot says Atlanta has just always had a really hard time adapting when a player is out. It's like losing a player just scrambles all their brains. It seems like that's the case. However, I mean, I would say that, I guess, what is the cause of that? The cause of that is, I guess, a lot. I mean, in years past, I'd say it's because we have a lot of inexperience. When you lose the leadership on the field, because a lot of those pieces that you're talking about that we would lose strategically are leadership type pieces. When they're removed, all the younger, like young gun type players we had out there, they fall to pieces. Like, to your point. So, if we can just have some steady, always present leadership on the field, like to what you guys were talking about earlier, like who is that guy in the locker room? Who is that guy able to prop up the team in a leadership way besides Brad? I mean, Brad's a big enough dude, you'd think he'd be good enough for the whole team, but apparently not. You need more than that. Joseph and Brad, apparently, like, two poles holding up the entire hammock, but I don't know. I guess we just don't have that anymore. Aruja's obviously not doing it. Almada, I can't imagine is even capable of doing that. I feel like he just kind of is, I don't know, quietly in the corner by himself, like just going like, I'll be out of here in a couple months, so
All right, I don't think he probably speaks English well enough to maybe be able to say anything that might be of like substantial value.
Well, there's plenty of Spanish speakers on our team that you can definitely fire up that need firing up.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's a mix of cultures in the locker room, so. It would be difficult, I think, to maybe if he's trying to call out, say, like Derek Etienne or something like that. It'll be a little bit more difficult. Or any of the American players.
It'd be really funny if there was like a translator there to like get angry at someone for you.
Right. Yeah. Right. But it's definitely it's up to leadership as well. It's up to the next man up obviously was not up tonight. It was very much down. It was the quality difference is stark, and I mean, I guess maybe the unfortunate bit is our next match is against New York Red Bulls, and so against a team that we have not beaten in the regular season, it's gonna be very difficult. So this. Yeah.
At least we'll have our full complement.
You're right. Maybe Almada's
that'll be the true test. That'll be the real test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and hopefully we finally beat them in the regular season. For the love of God.
Yeah. I mean, I think thinking back to the one man we fall apart. Really is dependent. Like, you lose Gutman, if everyone else is back, I don't think you fall apart. You lose Almada, you fall apart pretty quick. And I think 2018 showed this. We lost Miggy for a game and we were a disaster. Garza missed 2/3 of the season and Chris McCann started and didn't matter. Who shouldn't be playing left back. But there's not leadership through the middle. I think Miles is getting there, but we need like a Dax McCarty would be helpful. I mean, Ozzy Alonso being helpful, I think, would change this pretty quick as well. So maybe we have at least that piece in the roster, and he'll be back hopefully April, May.
Hopefully.
That's the thing. It's like I don't think Ibarra really had that bad tonight, but it is exactly what someone else was pointing out in terms of Sosa and Sejdic maybe occupying the same spots, and Sosa normally playing the deep role, so he's not really knowing where he's supposed to be in that sense, and especially coming off the injury, there's that, not any familiarity with any of the team really, in that sense of game time speed. And then Sejdic, is supposed to be probably the more attacking of the three, and I'm not sure really where he was tonight.
Yeah, he was low lying. He was definitely low lying this game. He was not forward moving at all, really.
You'd see him try and think he was Almada for like 2 minutes and he'd be all the way up front, and then he'd be back occupying the same space as Sosa. It was like both wanted to play the 8 role tonight, and that's bad because Sosa shouldn't, and Stadic can't play the 10 and was trying to hide.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good. It's a good problem to have in this sense. We to a degree, we have 3 6s in the side, with Sosa, Alonso, and Ibarra. Who do you guys think should be the starter for most of the matches?
Ibarra has made the argument for me.
Probably Sosa just because he's more talented, but
Yeah.
Ibarra right now is the destroyer we need, and I think it depends on who is next to him. So if you lost Rossetto and Sadek and we're on Fortune as the 8 for whatever reason, or Sadek or Rossetto finds some poor form, I think you turn around and say Sosa's a better option because he can do a little bit more things with the ball, a little bit more passing, but Ibarra is just a seek and destroy, and right now that's better suited for what Sadek is offering.
Yeah. I mean, he's been wonderful in the counter press when it has worked.
He's just a card machine. He scares me.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, someone in the chat was saying like where is our LGP? I mean, that is him. So let's get to another question. United 2022 home record was 8-5-4, and their away record was 2-5-10. Jason Chidwood is also saying that having key players back would have helped, but these tactics, Mbappe couldn't have bailed us out. Pineda plays recklessly away. This was 110% his fault. Kind of goes into what you were saying, Bill. They were trying to do what they normally do, which is the high press, high risk, high reward type game. And they got bit for it because they didn't have the personnel to execute that. And I think that was put on full display today. What do you guys think?
Yeah, massive gaps where players should have been. It was way too easy. It was just players normally should be following that third man run. It just looked like training ground stuff where Columbus Crew is like, oh yeah, well, there was nobody there to mark that guy who was gonna score very easily in that position. That you run these routines, and it looked way too easy. I mean, plus the it was Lennon that got cooked on the. Well, no, it wasn't Lennon, but it was where was Lennon when the cross came in from the right
on the first goal.
From the first goal, and Sosa, he's looking at behind him, where are you guys? Why am I having to come out?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't worried at that goal because it seems like we give up that goal a lot, and we can recover and we can rebound from it. But it was when everything started raining down on us, where I was like, okay, let's call it a day. I mean, it's weird. I mean, we often do well on defense, but we will let in 1 or 2 on those random crosses to the box where a guy just gets their head on it, and we're just like, okay, I guess, sure, fine. And it's usually Gutman on the end on trying to do that.
We need to stop crosses better, that's for sure. Set pieces also a problem tonight. They had a couple headers that were just too easy. The
balls in the mix are so often, and it always landed on the Columbus's foot.
Exactly. They're kind of close, but still, it's not a free header, but it's it might as well have been a free header because it seemed like no one was really jumping per se. And then, it's just these goals, are they preventable? I think so. Does that flatter them? Does it flatter Columbus a little bit?
Not when it's 6. If it was 3 or 4. I would be like, yeah.
So in the first goal, the setup to it is the thing I knew we were in trouble. So Nagby gets the ball. We're playing with 3 defensive midfielders. He has 3.5 hours with the ball at his foot. He leaves the pitch, grabs a beer, drinks it, says hello to his kids, comes back, and at no point in time have we gotten within 10 feet of him. And then he just looks off Lennon and slides the ball wide, and then no one goes anywhere near the guy hitting the cross. And it's some of the worst defensive tactic. You have 3 defensive midfielders. Somehow the 8 is open, and somehow no one is letting Lennon go wide to the guy crossing the ball. Lennon's chasing someone through the middle. It's just some of the worst spacing, and that thing, like with 3 defensive midfielders, can't happen.
So you bring up a good point. So Nagby, as we know, is the operator-in-chief. We have our own operator-in-chief, which is Almada. But the thing is, if Nagby is able to do that, and if we were to have our full complement of our desired starting 11 in, how would we have stopped that? I'm having a hard time seeing how we would have handled that differently. I feel like in this type of game, we would have gotten scored on still like 2-3 times at least, but we would have probably also put like 3-4 away on them as well. So do you think that that could have been that bossing in the midfield, is that something that just is an issue for us right now if you have an incredibly competent midfielder like Nagby?
I think it's a level of this where, okay, yes, I agree with what you're saying. I think there is also having the ball and possessing the ball well keeps the ball away.
Right, just never let them have it.
Type of defense. And so, yeah, it might have been a shootout because Almada, having more of that technical player who can, pretty much just, he can pretty much play anything in the midfield and on the wings. So, because last season there were games where he was the deepest lying player because we had Marcelino Moreno playing on the left, occupying some of the same spaces he was, and pretty much like he was playing keep away from the entire team. He just kept the ball, and like it was just you couldn't get it off of him. And I think that definitely helped in maybe some of those games not becoming a 6-1 like it was tonight.
So, kind of thinking about the same question. Have you ever watched a rec league and one player is just way better than everyone else? And
that's every game I play in rec league. Yeah, and it's not me.
Nice.
And everyone on the team is trying to do stuff around that player, and you know it. Pros are subtle about this, but pros will tell you how they feel about their teammates all the time and their abilities. And that goal, the reason that goal gets stopped isn't that our midfield gets more competent or that Almada is the master of this. Lennon is covering more to the middle because he doesn't trust the center back pair. Parada is covering more to the middle because he doesn't trust Cobb. And what's going on is you've basically got a bunch of players moving out of where they normally were because they don't trust their teammates. And
I completely agree. I definitely saw that tonight. Yeah, I was going to say earlier, it's like displaced. Like if one guy moves a little bit, then it moves over the other guy, and then it moves over that guy. Then they have to move over, and they move over, and they just keep going.
Yeah, Barco was my favorite for doing this because you knew he hated half of his teammates because he would hit some absurd pass to Julian and some absurd pass to Joseph, and he would watch some other player run and be like, nah, not going to hit it to you. You're going to mess this up. I don't like you. And you'd be like, okay, maybe Barcos just doesn't know what he's doing. And then 2 plays later, you'd see that player just kick the ball straight out of bounds. It'd be like Adam John super open, and he'd be like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Lots of flaws, but he would definitively not pass to you if he didn't think you were good, which is problematic because a lot of players in 2020 weren't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true. It's a really great point. And I think on this squad though, when we have all our players, there's less of that. So there's at least that ability to maybe withstand hero ball. We needed some hero ball tonight.
Yeah, Arujo's just not the hero we need. He's the one we deserve, I guess.
I think Almada's a good example of it because he, last year the passes he was willing to hit to certain players weren't the ones he's capable of, and now you're seeing kind of the full complement of passes come out where he's hitting, crushed balls 30 yards past a player across field so that they can run onto it. And he's willing to hit that now to Wiley, to Arujo, willing to hit through balls to GG. And the trust factor as that builds, you start playing the ball you should, and it makes the whole team better. And when, Miles is back there, all of a sudden Parada doesn't care about looking out for him. He can do his own thing. Lennon doesn't care. He's doing his own thing. So that's, it'll build. When you've got Miles back there, it makes everyone else breathe a little easier.
He's the foundation.
So that
yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
Just, he's going to erase 1-2 mistakes you make a game.
So I have a question for you guys. So tonight I noticed we underhit and overhit and just mishit so many passes versus I feel like in previous games we had a fairly high pass completion rate. This one was like atrocious. Do you think that's just...
Actually, ours was 85 tonight. Like, that was shocking. It was 85% passing accuracy tonight.
So
I don't believe it.
In the past, maybe it was so much so that the passes that we had tonight were in just crucial moments were intercepted and or mishit or what have you. I just noticed very specifically there was quite a few passes that were errant today, where I have not seen that. At least there may have been errant passes in previous 3 or so games. However, they weren't crucial. They weren't passes that things hindered on, right? Whereas this game, it's like, oh, you messed up that one. It's like, oh my goodness, Columbus is on their 10th break of the night already.
Yep. I mean, I think you just nailed it. I mean, it's just like, well, I think it's to Bill's point as well. It's you're trying to do too much, maybe to overcompensate for some of the perceived weakness that they probably saw during training during the week. And they can paper talk all they want about how we have a plan for when when we're missing players, but it's as Mike Tyson says, right? You have a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Arujo's just like, no, we're good. We're perfectly good. He's like, okay, are you though?
Yeah. So yeah, okay, dude. Yeah. Show it on the pitch, and we did.
So from 2019 through 2022, FTV on, we played like we equally didn't want to give the ball away in every third of the field, which is a terrible way to play. In the final third, if you give the ball away trying something, it's fine. The middle third, it's riskier. The back third, it's sucks. You can't do that. So for 3 years, we just passed the ball safely in the final third, and it's not good. This year, we're trying things. So we're probably passing at the same rate as we did tonight. But if you looked at where we gave the ball away, instead of giving the ball away in the final third and it's not mattering, we're giving away the ball in the middle third and the back third.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially. So if you're in the final third and you want to try a through ball, if you're hitting a ball 60 yards behind the defense, trying to catch them sleeping, whatever that is, do it. That's the balls we hit. That's the ball Sadek really hits in the middle. That's the ball Almada has been hitting. It's how things work. If you give those away, you convert on less than...
And we really didn't have the counter press to make up for any of those balls that went errant, too. I mean, a lot of those times in the final third, when we get that pass off and it doesn't go anywhere, or it gets intercepted or whatever, we pounce on it immediately. This game, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. And once again...
It just left way too many big spaces.
Yeah.
You give the ball away, and you can foul in the final third. It doesn't matter. If you foul someone chasing that down, it just throws the play away. You can reset and go from there. It works to give the ball away there, but we looked awful giving the ball away in the middle third. And then there was one point, Caleb Wiley showed off how we looked all game. He's dribbling on the touchline and tries to backheel it to Sadek, but he's standing out of back, he just backheels it straight out of bounds, and it's perfect. He thought he was totally getting that pass off. He was hitting that right where he wanted.
Yeah.
He had no idea where he was on the field or where any of his teammates were.
Yep, I completely agree. I mean, he was all over the place tonight. A lot of his passes, a lot of everything was just so disconnected from the team. It was frustrating because his potential. You see it the last couple of weeks. You're like, this guy is on the same page. This starting 11, though, I mean, heck, he could have been wearing a Columbus jersey for all I know. So I think I had one more topic to go over with you guys, and that is the topic of Brad Guzan. So, what did you think about his performance tonight? There was some interesting choices he made.
I mean, let's see. I'd say probably 4 of 6 of them. He probably, probably not at fault, but there were a couple, I think, in maybe organizing the box, like for those corners, probably could have done better. But I don't know. I mean, the defense in front of him was super poor. I don't know how many.
They left him out to dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, so goalie-wise, you either don't get anything shot on goal and you're a hero, part one, or part two, you do something that is above average or above expectation. You actually make some sort of save that shouldn't be a guaranteed crowd one, and we're happy. He didn't make any saves worth anything, so hard to give him anything other than a lower grade. I actually think the marking is good on most of their goals that were in the box that are his organization, namely the tipped first one and the corner goal. Like, Sosa's on that person and a player's directly in front of them free. Like, it's marked well. It's just really terrible defending. So organization wise, he's probably like a 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 tonight. Distribution, he's probably like a 1 out of 10. Saving the ball, he didn't do anything. So, 5 out of 10, he's fine. I don't know that he's saving any of his goals. Maybe he gets a hand on one of them because league average keeper probably does. Of the 6, get his hand on one of them. So he's old. He's not reactive. He's not good in distribution. He's still a leader. If you add in some good defense, he's okay for this season, but we should be really hoping Garces or one of the other kids is ready, or we've got some sort of plan, because he shouldn't be starting come next year.
Yeah, really great points. Definitely some heart and mouth moments as well. I'm sure that's probably what he's wanting us to talk about, Michael. A couple of them, of those kind of... maybe this is a directive from Pineda as well, like to, maybe have a little bit more of a last minute suck in the defense. But I don't know if you want your keeper to be sucking in the defense in the 6-yard box and then passing it late and then, it just going errant. So, I would probably suggest sucking in the defense from the actual defense, or, maybe a little further up.
So, Bill, I can't find it. Where is your 3 stars of the night?
I think my 3rd star was the athletic staff, because I thought they reacted quickly to Gutman's injury. My 2nd star was Eric Lopez for appearing in a game and proving that he did return from Argentina. And my 1st star was Scotch, even though I was drinking Japanese whiskey. Not important, but for helping me cope with this cluster of a loss.
Yeah.
That is quite the star, though. Japanese whiskey, so delicious.
Okay, we've got a new winner for best comment.
Right. So let's see.
Speaking of, I think we should get to the speaking of delicious things.
Oh, stop it.
Yes. Let's get to the spicy chip.
All right, I'll read the comment Bill's talking about, and then I'll do it. Okay. So
all right,
and then we'll hopefully when it lands on you, we'll continue to see you so glib for when you have to do something like that. Okay. So Baraka says having 7 players out on international duty and throwing legit high schoolers in the deep end doesn't help, but tactically we looked lost. Yeah.
No, I meant if we.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Conway instead of Barry.
I'm getting there. I gotta read the comments, Bill. You understand? If we have Jackson Conway instead of Barry, this game is completely different. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true, but I also don't know if Jackson would have been a better option or not. I haven't been the biggest on the Jackson bandwagon. I think a loan to the USLC is a perfect destination for him. He needs minutes. He needs to dominate it. He needs to do that.
I don't think we could have done worse.
He would have been much better.
I don't think we could have done worse.
Yeah, no, we could have done worse, but it's also they have an option to buy, so I think that says a good bit.
I mean, but I don't know that Barry was performing at a USL 1 level tonight. I mean, he had in the first half, the second half not his fault. The second half everyone was bad, but in the first half there were like 3 or 4 times that grab random person from the chat. I would have favored them over whatever Barry performed.
Yeah.
So Conway would have been an improvement. I don't know. It wouldn't have mattered. Our team fell apart, but yeah.
So Bill saw this comment that I made in the chat while I was watching Tyler Wolf run. And then AJ probably earlier today could attest to this. I'm pretty sure I can beat him in a bald sprint. I'm pretty sure I can. Okay. So I don't know if anyone knows this. If you were paying attention to the end of last stream, what we did is we spun a wheel, which kind of picks from an allotted assortment of horrible things that we don't want to do, and unfortunately landed on me. So I got to spin the wheel, and what it landed on was having to eat something extremely spicy, and luckily it wasn't to be done in the beginning of the episode like we originally planned, because I was thinking to myself, I may not be able to get through it. But so we're going to do it at the end. And to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, we got see if we can focus on that. This is the Ghost Reaper extremely spicy sauce. I have this in my pantry for when I'm feeling particularly masochistic. So and typically I will put like a little dab on something I'm eating, like a sandwich. I'll put 3 or 4 dabs on it. This has like 5, and it's on a chip. It's on a tiny little Tostito chip. So
if you don't mind, I'm gonna go off screen so I can watch you do this. Hold on.
Yeah, you can do that.
Because I can't see you.
Let me see if that affects the thing real quick. Hold on.
It might.
If you do, it's okay. I'll just. No, we're good. You're fine. All right. Ready? I'm not. I mean, this is gonna kick my butt more than Atlanta United's butt got kicked tonight. It's gonna destroy me more, actually. Okay. Whew.
There's a bit of a delay, so I'm just waiting on it.
Me too.
Okay. Toast ghost pepper. So it takes a little while. It takes a little while to hit.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more Trojan horse.
All right.
Just
swallowed it, and now we wait. Wait for the fun.
Okay. Well, I guess while we wait, we'll
already feeling it.
Before you suffer too much, go ahead and spin that wheel.
Oh yeah, so
spin that wheel for me.
Let's do this. Let me get this set up. Already got the burps going. All right. I don't even know if I could do this right now.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'll just have to watch that back later. But yeah.
He doesn't look happy.
No, it's not good. It's not good. All right, so let's do this. Let's do that. All right, can everyone see that on the screen? Let me know. Let me know if you can see that. Whew. Okay. Can you see the wheel on the screen? The people don't deserve this stream. How do you know it's really spicy? Go buy the frickin' sauce and test it for yourself. If you don't believe it. All right. So do you guys just see the wheel?
I do not yet, but yes, hopefully chat.
Bill, do you see it?
I feel like I'm on like an hour delay, but I do not see it yet.
Okay, all right. We don't.
Well, the chat will let us know.
Okay. So, do you see it now?
Was the chip spicy? Is that the thing?
The chip was a bit spicy. It's a little spicy. Just a little bit. Whew. Okay, so the wheel's up. So this is going to decide between Mike, Mark, and AJ for the next challenge. And hopefully, God, it's not me. Okay, I'm going to hit it. I'm actually pretty good at spicy stuff, and there's a lot more than I usually have. Oh, AJ. Sorry.
Okay.
You're the lucky winner.
Okay.
So just make sure that everyone sees that first before anyone accuses me of cheating. Alright, everyone's got it. Cool. So it's AJ. Now, we're going to go to this other wheel where we have all the things that AJ gets to do. Our next episode. Alright. I'm going to hit the spin. I'm going to hit the wheel. Jesus Christ.
Congrats on the win.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Alright, AJ. You have to listen to a song that you hate and then upload it to the channel.
Okay, alright.
I feel like mine was a lot worse.
Yeah, probably. I mean, although I probably would have traded the spiciness, because, man, I do not want to listen to any Nickelback.
This is... Ghost Pepper's a lot worse than Nickelback, I'm telling you.
I don't know. I guess, okay, maybe for prolonged periods. So, however long it takes for you to get over the spiciness, I will have, whatever, 4 to 5 minutes of hell that I have to sit through. So, yeah, alright. Well, you guys will watch me listen to Nickelback next week. I'll highlight the most cringiest bits.
Alright.
And, we can watch me suffer.
Sounds
and hopefully
good.
we don't suffer next week.
Yeah, hopefully there's better news next
for
week.
our actual match. Yeah, exactly. But I think it's a good spot to leave it at. We'll let Michael kind of go to the bathroom, maybe.
We're gonna find some milk, maybe.
Get some water. Yeah, it's a placebo usually. But,
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe try some ice, maybe some rice.
Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what make me feel better? I'm just gonna bring the sauce over to your house. I'm gonna make you have it. How about that? I know what we'll do. That's what we're gonna do next time. Yeah. And then next time we hang out, we're gonna do that. All right. So Bill, do you have anything to say? Where can the people find you and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, Bill. Thank you so much for joining us. But go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Away games probably. We'll have to do it again. I'm on Reddit. I post a bunch of stuff. That's about it.
We got to meet up at a game sometime when I'm finally able to get away from the house.
Sure.
Yeah, no, you were incredible tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You were much better than LA United.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
All right, AJ, please sign us out.
All right. Well, Michael could be found at NW _ ATL UTD Fan TV. He is probably you just can't say anything right now, so I understand. But yes, you know where to find us here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Bill, for Mike, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good night.
Night.